Lagunitas Brown Shugga Sweet Release. It's an ale made by Lagunitas Brewing Company out of Petaluma, California and Chicago, Illinois. This is 10% alcohol. Let's give it a shot. The title of the beer is Brown Shugga, and you do get this heavy flavor of what I'm assuming is supposed to be brown sugar and almost like molasses, like a very subtle molasses flavor. It's an ale. You do get that bitter ale tone behind it that reminds you that you're drinking beer. So you do have that bitterness and that bite, but it's not terrible. I'm going to say the brown sugar / molasses kind of flavor that you get when you take a sip, it's not overpowering. It's very forthcoming. It's right up front with you. As soon as you take the sip, you're like, okay, there it is. But it doesn't drown out the beer. It's I would say it's blended very properly. It's not, and that's another thing. So it's brown sugar, so you're thinking it's sweet. It's not really like on the sweet side. It kind of has that taste to it. I don't know if that makes any sense, but you're not getting this overly sugary, something that you get with like a fruit beer, or like the chocolate beers. This is, you're getting this flavoring, but you're not really getting a whole lot of this, like it's overly sweet, which is nice because it still blends in with the ale and gives you that, hey, I'm drinking a beer. It's just a different type of beer. Again, I had this in the past before. I didn't really remember it. And even after taking my first sip, it's not really like coming back to me. But now that I've tried it again and I can document it, it's not terrible. It's, you look at something like this and it's not your typical fruit beer and it's not your typical vanilla or your coffee or your chocolate beer. So you kind of think, what are these guys trying to do that somebody else could have possibly done already? Because you think if it could have been done already, it would have been done already. These guys, I would say that they did the best they could with this concept. I'm not going to say it's perfected. I'm not going to say that somebody else out there hasn't done a brown sugar beer and made it way better. But this is drinkable. This is not terrible. If you're an avid beer drinker and you like your craft beers, this is something I would suggest you go out and give it a shot. But now it's a heavy beer because of whatever the flavoring that made it have to taste like brown sugar. It feels like there's a lot in there, and it really makes this, after even taking the sip, I really felt heavy. And I know that's what my point is supposed to be here, but it's a heavy beer. So I would definitely see this as a cold month beer. I wouldn't want to drink something like this on a hot day. I can only see maybe drinking about 2 of these just because of how heavy it is, and it is just a different taste. It's if you don't like molasses or if you don't like brown sugar, it could really be annoying to you. And also it's an ale, so and that it doesn't, nothing about the flavoring is taken away from that ale bite that you're getting. On a scale of 1 to 10, I'll give this a 7. Just because I really appreciate what they tried to do. I appreciate they really tried to go and do something different that's not really on the market, and they didn't screw it up. I'm not going to praise them because this isn't something I would go out of my way for. But again, I could see this being on tap and people drinking it, and somebody making money off of it. It was different. I'll leave it at that. So again, that's Lagunitas Brown Shugga, 10% alcohol. Hey guys, if you like that, why don't you head on over to my YouTube channel where I do more beer reviews, where I do all the drinking and you do all the listening and judging. I don't know how that's fair, but you're welcome.